Morning guys, so day 2, Wren Kitchen. Floor is looking nice and dry and flat, which is exactly what we want. We've got the Wren drawings out. The drawings, just screwed them onto the wall for now. So we've got tower units and obviously your wall base units, a couple of wall units around this edge. So the first job we're going to do is get these ones out, the 600 and the two 300s, which is our oven and our other units either side. We're going to just position them roughly in place because we know they go there pretty much centre of that wall, and then we'll dig out the sink unit, obviously allowing for our washing machine, which is integrated, and then our 800, and then we can get this corner together and make sure I can get this unit, get all the units dry lined out basically. Then we can measure off the distances so that these are even spaces, so these gaps are even between the units, that way they're nice and central. And then we can adjust these accordingly so that we get the same here. And then they should, obviously this one comes slightly longer, but we're just going to get the general layout first. And the good thing about Wren's is every unit is numbered. All these blue numbers are the numbers of the cabinets, and then the other colours on there. Sometimes there's different colours that identify the panels. Not always, but sometimes they keep changing stuff. But anyway, floor is looking absolutely gorgeous. So now time to start throwing our units in. Stay tuned guys, and we shall get stuck in. See you in a bit. Okay, so we've got the oven unit in, and we've got our two 300 units in, which I just pull out basket units. So we've measured the same distance either side. So we've got 685 going that way and 685 going that way. We've cut out a notch for the pipes, and we've cut a chunk out here so we can still get to this electrical connection, which we've got to make sure the oven goes in with. May have to get my gas engineer out just to trim that pipe. We'll see if the oven goes in. We'll get it unpacked and test fit it, make sure everything's going to be okay, because we've got the oven and the hob connections there. So we need to make sure that everything's going to work as it should, because the original kitchen was bought off the wall about 40 mil. Obviously we're trying to shrink that and give them more area in the middle of the floor. So we need to test fit everything there. Hopefully it'll all go back in, but we will see. So next one we're doing is the 800 unit that goes in this corner. Bit worried about that boxing, but we will see in a minute. Got them roughly where we want. I've got a pencil mark either side. I've pretty much leveled these three, but they're not staying in. That's got a pencil mark as well. According to the instructions or the diagram, that is butting up tight to the boxing. So that means then we will then parallel that over here with the sink unit. So we need to make sure that all this is going to sit inside. Obviously I've got a cut, and I'm going to be removing these ends. And we're just going to be keeping these three, but what we're going to do is we're just going to cut them off long and then bring them into the unit. So we'll cut them off, turn the water off, drain down, cut them off, cap those two pipes there, bring all this through into the unit. We may have to bend that, take that back a little bit to bring it inside the unit, which we're going to figure out in a minute. And then we're going to go from there. Okay, so we're about ready to start mucking about with the plumbing. So what we've done is we've measured from this part of the wall here to the end of our cabinet to this point, and done the same here. And this pencil mark here is roughly where it should be. And as you can see, all our pipework is within the cabinet, but because we're going to cut these tails off and don't need them, we can move that pipe over a little bit, bring it more inside the unit. So we're just going to shut the water off now, trim them pipes up, cap them, then we'll pull that unit out, get that roughly in place, cut our holes out the back panel, slide that one in place, and then we can start fixing. Once that's in, we can then fix those to the wall, that one to the wall. All these can be fixed to the wall. Then we can do our filler plates there, our corners, which are made, you make them bespoke with Wren. We'll go through that in a little while. And then we've got the wine cooler, 600 tower, 300 tower, and then we'll have the washing machine, and then whatever other units. There's one other 800 unit just goes there. So let's get the water turned off, get this plumbing sorted out, and then we can crack on. Right, so we are going to cut these pipes now. Now, hopefully, we've got the water turned off, and these have got 2 drain off valves on here. It's working, isn't it? Yep. 2 drain offs, so we put the bag under our drain offs. Anyway, hopefully, yep, all the water's off. So open up our drain offs. We can now get air in by opening these valves, a little bit more air in. Let these drain down. Flat bladed, open these ones as well. Any water out. Open all the valves up. These have got non-return valves on, so we need to crack them off with my spanner. There we go. So those 2 non-return valves off. Now whip this one off as well. Get the bags under. There we go. So that's all scrap now, so we're not putting that back in. What I'll probably do now is go into one of the bathrooms and open the taps and make sure that we are turned off, make sure the mains is turned off properly. Alright, so cold's still draining a little bit, the hot stopped. We've got 2 bathrooms here, we've got an ensuite and then a family, but unfortunately I can't get into the family to open a tap to speed the drain down process. I'm just going to whip these non-return out, these drain offs off, and both of these, because we're going to be capping this end anyway. Okay, that's what scrap pile. There won't be a lot of scrap on this one. All I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut these off, and I'm just going to solder some end caps on, assuming I've actually got any left. I don't like putting push fits on if I can help it. It's just a personal thing. End caps, 15mm end caps. There's one. No, there's some big soldered ones. Yeah, I need them anyway. I need one more of those as well. Temporary ones. There's the other one. There's another one. That's me 2 soldered caps. And then I've got 3 push fits for the pipes that are staying. I've got to come through the unit. No, they should be long enough. Oh, they will be long enough, I should say. Oh, the cold's pretty much stopped now. So let's cut this one back. Right, that's the cold. So a little pile of scrap. Pass me a drill over, Ricky, please. Cheers, mate. Just a little push down, make sure we've got everything off. Clean the tails up with our pipe cleaner. And that one's coming off anyway. Just pop this off with a clip. That one up there. Let's just nip this one off. Clean these pipes up. Bit of flux, soldered caps on. There's no point going too mad. If there's no need to rip it all out. It's just a minor bit of adaptation. That's all we're doing. Just a minor adapt. So we don't need to go nuts with it. Wipe off the excess flux. Clean them up. Shouldn't need any bag of water anymore. Oh, there's the water back on in a minute. Come on. Give them a clean up. Scotch pad. Beautiful. Now all we've got to do is put our push fits on. What I like to do, my push fits, I always forget to do it. Spray a little bit of water in the end. This helps add a little bit of lubrication to the pipes, makes them slide on nicely. And then I like to give them a little pull back, just make sure they bit, because the last thing you want is them popping. And that is basically it for that. I'm going to cut this back and shorten it, bring it in a bit more into the unit, because I'm not happy with it being so far out. But that's plumbing wise pretty much done. It's nice when you haven't got to go mad on the plumbing. So just going to shorten this pipe. That's a bit of screw gun. Just whip that clip out for a second. All we're going to do is just shorten it and glue it back on. Give it a clean up. Put a straight coupler on that. Glue that back in there just like that. That way then it's all nicely within my unit. Happy days. Okay, got our straight coupler. A little bit of glue. Bit of glue inside there. Bit of glue around the edge of there. Now twist to make sure the glue gets spread. And then the same again. Glue on our pipe. Little push, little bend, little wiggle jiggle. Got a bit of a fall on it, not a lot, and that's perfect. Right, we can now mark out our holes and get our unit in place. Alright, so first job we're going to do, move this little 300 unit out of the way. Clear our unit off, just like an idiot. I've left stuff in the way, which is full of water. Right. Now, we've already pretty much levelled the unit, but I will double check it. We've got our laser there. It's a bit low on the back, which is the important part. Okay, that's pretty good. Our laser line's there. So now I need to do is mark out from there. I need to get this in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take measurement from that unit to there because I can't remember what it is. So we are looking at 1275. So off the back here, 1, 2, 7, 5, pretty much there. What we're going to do, and then mark where our pipes are hitting. Get that one cut out. Right size hole cutter. I always go slightly bigger than what's needed. That way then you've got a bit of wiggle room. And all we're going to do is we're going to eye up the centre of our hole. Yep. Never drill all the way through from the back because you will damage the inside of the cabinet. Perfect. Don't need that hole cutter no more. We need the bigger one now. So now we can mark up the other 3 pipes. Push it back. They will touch. Double check our measurement. Do it at the back. 1, 2, 7, 5. That way then we know we're going pretty much. You can if you want to go down the extreme of doing this all with tape measures and measuring it, but for the sake of the time it takes just to push it up to the pipes, I find it's just as quick. So I've now got 3 marks where those pipes are. Now we've got to bear in mind we've got the push fit caps on, so the hole's got to equate to go over your push fit. So what you can do is get your hole cutter and make sure it slides over. I know that's too small. I'm going to go a bit bigger because I like to have a little bit of wiggle room in my pipes. Woohoo! Job done. That's that unit ready to go. Now we'll slide over our pipes. Absolutely spot on. Tight to the wall, and then we're going to bring it to our pencil line. That unit's basically where it needs to go. We now put our 300 unit back in. Just like that. And there we go. So we've now got our basic corner set out. When it went for our washing machine, we've got another unit that goes there that we will get sorted out shortly. First thing we're going to do though, good tidy up, start levelling these units out. Happy days. That's what I like to see. Okay, so things are taking shape quite nicely. We've got the general layout, we've got our sink base unit in place, we've joined the oven and the 2 300 units together. We're just tweaking a few bits. We've had to pull the oven unit forward slightly. We're going to pull the oven unit because they're having quartz worktops. We're going to make this a bit 20mm gap here. We're going to bring them off the wall 20mm because we need to be able to connect up our hob and oven, and obviously the oven needs to go all the way back. So by bringing the oven goes in with it tight to the wall, but it's too tight. We've got to put a cover plate on them for safety. So by bringing this 20mm off the wall, we'll use some space plugs to do our fixings, and then that way then we can still wire our oven in and put the cover plates on without any issues of it arcing out or being dangerous. And because it's having stone worktops, that extra 20mm on that side won't really affect. I mean, we could, if we wanted to, bring all the units in 20mm. That's going to have a blank on it because obviously the washing machine's got to go back, but there is another few spur fitting the other side of this cupboard, so we'll cut a hole in that cupboard and we'll have the plug there for the washing machine, so that's fine. The wine cooler will go into one, that's down there, so again we will put an inspection hatch there, change that from a outlet like that one to a plug, and then again the same as that one, that will then be used for the fridge freezer, which we may have to make an adaptation for. We'll figure it out in a minute because we still got to put the wine cooler in, then there's a 300 larder, and then there's a fridge. I'm not sure which order it's in. Actually, it's fridge 300, but we'll figure that bit out in a minute as well. It's minor stuff. It's nothing to worry about. So we're not doing bad for today. Like I said, we'll have all these base units in today. We'll probably have the larder units in all by the last decor panel. Hopefully get them all in and lined up as well. We're going to put our washing machine bridges in. I used to be pocket jig for to make sure the washing machine sits in there nice. We've raised the units slightly higher because we've got at least 5-6mm in flooring going down. So we've allowed that plus a little gap for breathing. So the plinths are 155, I think, and I think we've set our feet to 165. So we've allowed 10mm tolerance in our feet. That will allow the floor to go down up to the feet, and it'll also allow a little bit of breathing, a little breathing vent hole. So let's get stuck back in. And then what we've done, my study buddy, or stud buddy, because I actually noticed up here in this hole there was some timber. So it's obviously a stud wall, really big stud gap, so 620. But with the stud buddy, we found our studs on that wall. So we had about to put some packers behind the oven unit and get a fixing, so that's now solid. And then we've screwed a bit of timber to the stud, and then we've come through the unit with a space plug because I didn't have a screw long enough. It needed to be at least 120, so I didn't have any. All I've got is hundreds, which weren't long enough. So if I put in that bit of timber with a 70mm screw into the stud, I can then put a 100mm screw through the cabinet, through the space plug into the timber. That's made that solid. This is also a stud wall, so we've already marked our studs out. So we can put a fix in there, a fix in there, and a fix in there. We're only going to do two, one there and one there, and then that'll be that. Once that's leveled, we get that fixed in. And then obviously this one's an outside wall, so I need to find out whether this is a timber framed block of flats, which is possible, which is unlikely, or whether it's brick. So we can drill through over there, do a test hole, see how deep we've got to go before we hit brick. And if it is stud, we can then look for studs to get this all screwed to the wall as well. So if we're taking shape, it's only 11 o'clock, I believe. So we're not doing badly. But I say we've still got another 3 or 4 hours work ahead of us. So we get all these cabinets fixed in place. Just get stuck in, basically. See you in a bit. Okay, guys. So we've already done this corner filler over in this corner here. So that one's done. We just got this one to do now. And with the Wren kitchens, they don't give you a pre-made corner. You have to make it yourself. I have addressed this on other videos, but obviously because we have different subscribers all the time when they see the videos being uploaded and stuff, so they're always asking how things are done. So every time I do a kitchen, I end up going back over videos that I've already done in the past. Okay, right, sorted. Alright, so like I say, Wren's send you a large panel like this. And what you have to basically do is cut it to make your own corner panel. So they also supply a couple of bits of timber, one of which is this one. And that is designed to fit inside the cabinet like so. And then there's another one, which is here. And there's another one that's longer that goes on the outside of your cabinet, exactly the same height as your cabinet. And basically you're making a corner that looks like this. So you're using the outside one here and the inside one goes inside there. You'll notice mine stepped off slightly. That's to allow for the door stop so that they still sit flush. There's a couple of mil. I always space them off the cabinet a couple of mil so that when the cabinet sits in with its spacer, they all sit flush. I need to address that one a bit more yet. But that's basically how you build your corners. So the first thing we need to do is basically just rip this, not necessarily in half. I mean, I know I need it to go from that point backwards. So from there, so halfway through this centre post is 18 mil. That's 36 mil post. I've marked it at half at 18 mil. So I know I need it to be at least, because I can eyeball it from here, I need that cut to at least 140 mil. So I can rip this down to 140 mil. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to use my sliding rule. I'm going to set it to 140 mil. This makes it so I don't have to use a tape measure. That way I know I'm going to get an accurate cut. Sharp pencil. All I'm going to do is line that end and line that end. And we're going to use the track saw, which I've just put a new blade on. You should always want to go on clean cut. Put the extractor on. So that's 140 mil. Got a lovely, clean, crisp cut. It's always, even with a plunge saw, even though they say you should get a very clean cut, you never get a perfect cut on that edge. So always cut your panels with the face down. That way you'll get a lovely, clean, crisp cut. So that is going to be fixed to this. We're going to screw that on the back of there, like so. And then we measure off of this for the gap that we need. So what I'm going to do, we're going to put this and we're going to slide it in. It will wedge in nice and tightly. Put it in from the back, be a little bit easier. Just going to push that in there like so. Get it up tight so it's touching our centre post. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp this across there like so at the right height. Using the clamps, just going to clamp that on there on our line. Making sure we get it right where we want it. And we're also going to use our 6 foot level because we want that to be touching our level basically. So that is the height of, we want that. And that needs to go up just a smidge. That's it, perfect. Give it a little tweak so it all sits how we want it on our pencil lines. Perfect there. In a tan at the top. Alright, it's a little bit of jiggery pokery. I'm sure there are other ways of doing it. This is just how I do it. So once I'm happy, I can then use my countersink and we can put a countersink through from the back. And then we can use cut 30s. Absolutely beautiful. Take our clamps off. Now we can get this how we want it, which is nice and square with our panel. You can put packers behind there. So now we need to cut our piece, and it's going to be from the cabinet to the actual panel we've just fitted. So we want to make sure everything's sitting pretty. I've got a screw in the way at the moment, but I've screwed this panel on. I'm just going to sink that a bit more. That's it. That's our screw sunk now. Now we'll make sure this panel sits as it should. Beautiful. What I like to do, a couple of little packers just to hold that in place, like so. Hold that with my clamp. Beautiful. Just like that. Now we can measure off now what our distance is. And we are looking at 98 mil. Assuming everything's level, that would be the exact cut for that. So now we rip 98 mil off the other panel. So I'm gonna flip this around. We're going to use the other piece of board as a rest, and then we're going to use our sliding rule again, wherever we're done with it. I'm going to set that to 98 mil. I like doing it this way because I know that I'm getting an exact square cut when I do my lines. You can just do it with a tape measure. This is just my way, my preference. Everyone's got their own little methods, but this way I know that line is exactly the same at the top as it is at the bottom, and there's no room for error. Right, if we've done it right, that should now sit in here absolutely beautifully. Which it does. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so next job we're going to do, using our pocket hole jig, we're going to do 4 pocket holes. Just moving it down the length of our board. I've actually screwed mine to the tops of these units. That way then I'm getting a nice solid surface to work on, and that's going to stay there for now for the duration. Okay, so next job, we've used one of the shelves to create a surface, and what we're going to do is the piece we want to attach to, face edge down with the clean edge against the wall. And then we're going to put this on top, like so, making sure it's all lined up at the edges, making sure that they're all good, making sure that we're all butted up. We're going to then do a little pilot. We're going to use the same pilot bit. We're going to do a pilot hole. And we're just going to make sure that's all sitting pretty, make sure it's all flat and flush, it's not proud in any way. What I will do as well, I think, in this particular instance, is get my level, which is slightly thicker than the piece I want to work with. Because this wall's got a bow in it, I want to make sure it's all sitting pretty. So we're just going to use the level as well. That way then everything will stay bang true. And then little pilot all through. And I use these Trend 30mm pocket hole screws. Double checking that it's up tight against the spirit level. Pilot. And the pocket hole screw. Screw that together, just double check. Make sure we're all flush, absolutely beautiful on the back edge. Exactly how we want it. And then we can do the same again then with the 2 middle screws. Spot on, beautiful. Next thing we're going to do, we're just going to pilot hole a couple of screws through here, countersink. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my medium level, which is up here, and a clamp which are still holding this panel on, which we don't need anymore. I'm just going to clamp this here like so. Stick it on there like that way then the door can still shut. And we're going to tweak our panel so she sits beautifully with our door, allowing for our couple of mil for the opening edge. Check the bottom. That's it. And there we go. All I need to do now is screw this piece to this piece. Happy days. And when you're finished, it should look just like that. Anyway, time to get on. I'm going to hold my hands up. I fucked up and I cut the other corner panel wrong, so I'm going to have to order a new one from Wren. Hopefully we get it here this week, which is bloody unlikely. But I'll have to leave the other corner for now because I made a boo-boo trying to film it, and I made a boo-boo. I was almost finished and I did one cut and I cut the wrong bit. It is what it is. Accidents happen. So I'll speak to the client, get him to order a new one. I'll pay for it. But in the meantime, we get the washing machine set out, get that bit done, get that unit fixed, and then we get the start on the larders. See you in a bit. Okay, so after that little cock up on our corner post, the client has managed to order a replacement part which will be here Thursday. So that gives me Thursday to get that fitted, so I'm not worried about that. Worktops have only been templated Friday. So worst case scenario, I'll fit it for Friday morning or Thursday evening. Either. We've sorted out our washing machine spacing. So we've used the panel that was supposed to go there. That way then we get that green edge there to follow it through. That's going to be just bracing our units, creating a perfect 600 space for the washing machine. We're going to cap that one, and then we're going to cut the hole out there because there's a plug right there which we can change to a single socket. That way then we can bring the washing machine up, plug it in there, and it's accessible, and obviously then it'll be plumbed in on that side. So Ricky's now going to cut that one out. We've got to do a similar thing over on this side, cut it out there, and then put a single socket on there. We've also got to cut some out of this panel here, which isn't an issue. We can figure that bit out easily enough. I'm just going to level the larder units now, get that one level, roughly in place, and then we can scribe the decor panel for that one. We get that fixed, and then we can fit that one on, get that fixed to it. Obviously that one's going to be sitting up on top of the wood flooring, which isn't an issue, but we'll figure that out. We're not going to fit the decor panels yet, because once all this is all done and the floor, the units are all in, we will then lay this floor in. So potentially we could be laying this floor tomorrow. So that'd be that done. Let's get this floor down tomorrow, and then we can get our decor panel on the end of there, decor panel on the end of there, and that's basically the base units will be in place then, ready for templating. We can start on the wall units. Stay tuned guys, and we'll see how we crack on to the rest of the day. Okay, so the larder units are in. So what we did was clamped a level to the bottom of that and sent it across there, tweaked it, leveled it, and then we just put 2 screws through this. We put a packer behind and put 2 screws through because we know there's a stud there by using the Studdy Buddy. And then we use our 6-foot level to make sure everything's nice and true. You go across your front edge like so, making sure it's all touching all the way through, which we know it is. So now that that's done, we can put our decor panel on this side because we're going to cut it out so that the plinth goes through continuously. And then we can put this one on as well because it's sitting on the finished floor this side. So in decor panel there, and then wine cooler goes in there with a couple of mil tolerance. We've got 320, we only want 318. So that's perfect. So we've got a couple of mil tolerance there. So the wine chiller is going to slide straight in. We've just got to cut out our little hole here for the plug. And then we're going to find another stud and put another fixing, an L bracket or something, just to take the movement out of this. Because obviously at the moment it's rickety, but these studs are like 63 centimetres out or something like that. So we can't just go screwing them on willy-nilly, unfortunately. And obviously we can't get through the back of that because it's got a massive back panel in it. So I'm going to see about putting an L bracket up there, try and find a stud or something, little L bracket out of the way. Okay, so after no luck trying to find any way to get fixing, what we're going to do, we're going to use our Fisher fixings, the T ones, 10mm hole. With a 10mm hole, we're going to push this in here. And we're just going to use this to secure an L bracket in. So we get that in there, put it tight, push this white cap in. So once you push it in, you just bend the tab over and it will snap. We're going to use a nice 50mm screw. We're going to screw an L bracket to that. And there we go. So we've got a 50 5.0 screw. That's absolutely solid. And then we've used a 30 in there as well because it's double thickness to secure that. And that is now made absolutely rock solid. So my larder units are now secured. So now I can get on with my decor panels. So because this ceiling's really low, we can't put the panel in and scribe it. So I've measured it oversized to 210 centimeters or 2,100, whatever you want to call it. We're going to whip that off to rough height and then we're going to scribe it. So we're just going to quickly cut that now. Okay, so we've got it in place. This has got to be, because these are Wren, they are oversized panels, so we've got to scribe the back as well as the top. So what we've done at the minute is got it in place. As you can see, it's higher. Make sure this is the cut edge. This is the edge we've already cut because obviously we don't want to cut it twice and cut it wrong. So making sure you push it up and it stays flat to the floor. So you don't want it lifting. So that's now dead flat. So now we're going to pencil mark the top all the way along. We will then cut that and then it can be flipped. And then that should be a perfect scribe for the top. And then we just got to scribe our thickness. Okay, so she's now cut to height. Obviously, what we've got to do now is get our distance here, right? But we're also going to cut a little chunk out of the bottom so that our plinth will sail right through and finish there. I don't like having these breaks. Actually, you know what? I'm lying. I am lying because of the wine cooler. That is where it's got to go. I'm having one of them days, guys. Did you spot the mistake? Because Ricky did. I'm glad he did. Get a bit carried away. I forgot there's a wine cooler going in there, so we're not cutting a notch out of the bottom of the decor panel to sail the plinth through, because the wine cooler goes in and there's another decor panel to go in there as well, which I've forgotten about, so I've had to shunt the units over. This is what happens when you're trying to film while you're working. You get sidetracked, your brain doesn't engage properly and mistakes happen. And I've already made one cock up. Ricky's just saved me another one. But so, this is where we're at. We need a 22mm gap here to allow for the thickness of the door plus 2mm. So we've set this base with the clamps in place. We've used the sliding square and we've set it to 32mm. And we've put tape on the back edge like that. And then using my little block, this one, if you can see it, it has 10, 12, or whatever that is, I can't see it, 25, 20, 15. So that's a 10mm, that is. So we can run that down the wall with a pencil in, just like this. And that will mark me up my 10mm space. Actually, the pencil's in the right place, but there we go. And that's now cutting me a 10mm. I just finished marking that. Okay, so we've got our 10mm scribe. It's not 10mm, obviously we're allowing for the 10mm. We'll cut that now. That panel will then sit in there beautifully. We're not going to fit the panel. We're going to make sure it fits and it's all lovely, because tomorrow we're going to lay the floor, and then what we would do is we would just trim this. Actually, I could trim it now, but I'm not going to. I could put a bit of floor in there, trim it, but you've got to allow for glue. So we're just going to scribe it, clamp it in there, screw it for now, and then tomorrow we'll whip it out, throw the floor in there, trim it down a couple of mil, throw it back in. Using the long track again, we're going to come just inside our pencil line so that we can plane it. As you can see, we're a bit there. We're going to bring it in a tad more, making sure, because we want to get a nice scribe. So that's pretty good. So we can cut that off and then we can fine tune it with the planer. There we go. To be fair, these walls are in really good condition and they're damn flat. So it was basically a straight cut, no problems at all. So that's basically, and I'm just going to screw it in, leave it, and then we'll take it out again tomorrow when we do our flooring. I'm going to do the same with this panel. So it's all cut, all scribed. And then all I've got to do is trim them to height. That's the only two panels I've got to worry about. Oh, and of course there's one on the end there as well. Again, I'm going to cut and scribe them, and we'll just whip them off tomorrow. Okay, so apart from my balls up with the corner panel, which, you know, mistakes happen. You know, it won't be the first time, won't be the last time. All my decor panels are in. I just got to take them off tomorrow once the floor's done and trim them up. That's nothing major to worry about. They're in and done. But basically the base units are finished. So obviously got integrated washing machine's got to go in there with this door on. Decor panelled. That's the one I made a cock up on. That one's fine. They're all in. That's in. Just got to throw the appliance in there, which is the fridge freezer. Hands even correct, which is good. Just got to cut that panel at the right height and then put a shelf in there at the right height for the fridge. That's in and secured. That decor panel is on and fixed and ain't coming off again. That can stay on. So yeah, we're doing well. Basically ready for templating. We can bring that forward if we can get hold of them. And then we just got wall units, extractor, wall units, and then wall units, which I'll probably do Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to do the flooring tomorrow, which is a herringbone pattern. So we're just going to go like we did with the other one, measure the feet, mark the centre, and then I mark the centre off of that one, draw a line through, and then we'll work out, because obviously the centre of the floor, and you have to adjust the herringbone. The centre of the herringbone is different than what you think it is. So we'll sort that out tomorrow. So don't forget, guys, like, share, follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with no more mistakes. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.